Hi, this is Darren Drew from D. Drew Guitars. Okay, first we're going to finish a couple things. The nut we're going to glue in. So I will get some super glue, medium, and my newly made nut. Just a couple little tiny drops. It's all that we want. Put this in place, make it go all the way down, make sure it's in the middle, and just press down for a few moments, few seconds, and boom, your nut's in. Okay, the other thing is we're going to finish the fifth tuner and installing it on the neck. Okay, so what I first do is I'll shorten this on the grinder just a little bit, just because sometimes it will hit the truss rod and not go in all the way. And the other thing I'll do is, it's got a little spiky guide thing right here, and I will file it to a point, you could say, because it's very dull, and I like it to slide into the wood easier. So I also do that on it. It's a compression fit. So no glue, no clamps, no nothing to hold it in. Okay, so you want to have it straight this way, you want to have it straight this way. So I got it to where it goes in, and I'll tap it with just my rubber hammer. And that's all that it takes. You want this part at this angle right there, so it's almost in all the way, and it's in there nice and straight. And then that's all. No glue, no nothing. I'll put this straight so it's easier for my strings. Okay, and the next thing I'll do is, this is the bridge for it, and as you can see, it's at an angle straight here and at an angle here. The angle part goes towards the headstock. And so I will notch it out on the G string with the file just a little bit, and I'll sand it and oil it. And the reason for that is it compensates for the intonation. It will intonate that string a lot closer than if you don't do that. It's moving the string point farther back is what it does. Okay, and then another thing before we go to put strings on is we want to have the proper tension on the head. So you use a drum dial and place it about 1 inch from the rim, and it should be anywhere 88 to 90 on the gauge right here, and just work your way around. I already have this one set, and it's right at 90 on all of them. And the way you accomplish getting that tuning just right is with all of these lugs right here, and you just tighten them one at a time, going around, in a circular motion. Usually it takes 2 or 3 times of going around to get them all, snug enough to tightened enough. Because what you do, you tighten this one here gets looser, then this one here gets looser than that one. So you got to go around about 2 or 3 times. You also want to make sure that all of your tension rods are tight, all your nuts, and which I put the neck on, so they are good. Okay, so now we're going to start to put the strings on. The strings on the banjo, flip this little lever up, this little cover up, this one right here. They're not very highly strung, you could say. So there's not much tension on them. They're pretty easy to string up. On the back of this tailpiece, there's 5 little hooks, and 1 string will go on per hook. So I'm not going to do the 5th string yet. So I'm going to go to the next hook over, which would be the D string. Slide this underneath the little piece right there. Pull this tight. Poke it through your tuner hole. Try not to get any fingerprints on your headstock that you've already cleaned. And I hope that you've washed your hands, because it's best when you're putting on new strings. So then, once again, the same thing is hold your string at the nut. When you're pulling it tight, pull it back to the first fret, give it a crimp, and then you can just start to tighten it. I go over the top of this string first, and then down below it from then on. And that helps to kind of create a lock, that helps lock it in place better. Put our bridge in place. And you want to go like five millimeters from the tailpiece end out. And that's about the right place for the proper tuning for this. And my slots may not be big enough or deep enough in there, but we'll see. We'll cut off this excess to get it out of the way. Really nice and close. And then we'll go to the next string. That string there's a 23 thousandths. This one here is a 13 thousandths G string. Put it on the hook. This one here actually goes through this hole now. Through that little hole in the tailpiece. Pull that tight. Do the same thing, go through your hole. Pull it back to the first fret. And I'm also holding the string right here with my finger just to hold it some tension on it so it doesn't fall off back there. Yeah, I need to make these slots a little bit deeper. Cut that off. Then we go to a 10. That goes under this little piece right there. Come on. And the string wraps around in the way where it goes from the inside to the outside. So the banjo tuners are weird because they go in different directions from the top to the bottom. You know, bass and treble sides. Got this one off. And then go to the 9s. why these strings are on this. I don't know. This neck is not fitting on here the best it looks like. So before I get any farther along, the strings are on top of the fretboard. That's not good. They should be up in the air a little bit. So I'm going to try to do that with the tension rods. This is the way you adjust the string height. So this one, I will loosen the nut on the far outside. And I will lengthen the rod, in which what that will do is give it some more string height. Let's see where that is. Yeah, that lifted it up for now. Still needs to go some more, but we'll worry about that after we get it all strung up and tuned. And now for the 5th tuner, which is also a 9, the G string. Okay, there's a little guide right here that holds the G string in place, and you want to make sure that that slot in there is free and goes all the way down. I use the same little X-Acto saw blade to do that with. This one turns at a lot different rate. This thing always gets in the finger's way. It turns a lot different gear ratio than the other ones. So this one can got to turn and turn and turn. I use my drill, but just he always gets caught in it, it seems. Let's cut that off. Okay, now we'll flip this back up. Well, this is a floating bridge, so we'll make sure that the strings are going down the neck with the same distance on both sides. Same with the tailpiece. Okay. Well, it still needs some more height on there, but let's try and tune it and see where we are. So this is a G, D, G, B, D. Is the way the strings are called. Okay, need to adjust the truss rod. That's the problem. So the neck is it's going like this. Back bow they call it. So we will loosen it, I believe. I'm just sighting down the neck to see where it needs to go. Okay, that's pretty straight right there. I've already done the frets on this. So now let's tune it. I can tell right now. We need to tighten these tension screws right here just a little bit because they're on the loose side and they'll spin too free and not hold tune. Okay. Always run through the tuning twice because it stretches in. Okay, you hear that? That doesn't ring right, I bet. That's still too low. This isn't quite deep enough yet. Let's finish tuning it. Okay, D, G, B, and then this is D, and then G again up here. Something sounds funny. So now it's in tune. We'll check it with, check the relief in the neck. Put a capo on the first fret. Here you go to the 9th fret. Hold it down here at the very last fret. Go to the 9th fret. And you want 8/1000ths. Which this is too much. You can use a feeler gauge. I really don't need to. So I will tighten the neck. I will straighten it out. Check it again. Don't be afraid of using the truss rod. They work really well. I've only seen one break out of like 10,000 guitars. Okay. That's good. But you can use a feeler gauge like this. Put it underneath the string and with the capo on, and it shouldn't move the string really. Okay, that's what we want to do there. Now, we will check the string height in which my little ruler gauge, string setup gauge, put it on the last 2 frets, hold it flat, and it should be 8/64, which this has a long ways to go. Same as its 1/4 inch. Okay, so what I want to do is make this rod longer. So it's not coming even with the back of my net like it's supposed to. So what I'll do is I'll turn this whole rod to make it longer because it's screwing out of here. Now this should tighten up. I'll hold this in place. And this adjusts the heights of the strings. Kind of a weird way they do it, but it works. That's much better, I can tell already, but not quite enough. We still have a long ways to go. This one's moving a lot harder than they normally do, which is not good, but that's just the way it is. Tighten this one up. Let's see where we are. Good. Now we're a bit too much. Good. So one more quick little adjustment. So now I want to bring the action down, so I'll just loosen this one a touch, tighten this one, and this tension rod is flush with the edge of the nut here, which is good. So that should be good now. Yep, 8/64. So now we'll adjust the depth of the nut. It's got quite a ways to go. This I use a 16 thousandths nut file. So I will go through these real quick and be right back. Okay, for your height on your string to your first fret, you can get them as close as you can get them. I mean, like, 5 thousandths clearance. This one's still a little bit high. I'll use a 16 on both the D and G. And I don't loosen the strings once again. I just pull them out with my fingernails and pull up on them. There. Dust this off a little bit. Now we'll want to check intonation. So I'll put my tuner back on. I got to do this part here too. Make sure it's all the way deep enough. I get my little saw blade, put it in here, and just use the last few little teeth is all, just this part right here. See if that rings out better. Oh, so let's try this. Much better. Okay, so make sure your strings are lined up properly. That's good. Now we'll put it all back in tune. Okay, so now just like a guitar, you want to do a harmonic on the 12th fret. And then hold it down at the 12th fret. Okay, my tuner is telling me that it's way sharp and the needle is past the center point. So I will move the bridge back, just like the side that the needle's pointing to. Move it back. Try it again. Good there. Then we check the other D string. Good. Then what we do is get I like a mechanical pencil. So what we'll do is mark the outside of, and then just the same amount right there on there, and then that will demonstrate the proper location for the bridge. and that's it. And then test play it, make sure everything plays properly, and which I know it will now. One more thing, the arm guard should be about 1/8 of an inch from the top of this rim here. It's got a little bolt right here that you can loosen, same size as the bolts for the tuning. Tighten that up. And then all we would have to do is, I got to put a truss rod cover on it yet, but is put the resonator on it. And that's all that there is to it. Putting new strings on a banjo. So sometimes this nut will come loose when I have to adjust it, so I want to make sure everything is tight in here. Make sure that these little brackets are nice and tight, because those are what holds on the resonator. And there you go. Putting strings on a banjo, setting it up, putting a neck on, the tuning keys on, making a nut for it, and that's it. Well, I'll demonstrate this. The resonator I don't have with me right now, but these finger bolts, they go through right through here in the rims and go into little bolts that stick out inside the resonator. 4 of those to screw it on, and that's it. Thank you very much. Hope you learned something. Please subscribe and hit the like button. This is Darren Drew from D. Drew Guitars. Thank you.